The number one thing I'm always hearing people talk about is daddy issues. And, the dad wasn't there, dad was very emotionally neglectful or just very harmful. I feel like we don't give any type of merit or attention to the mother wound. What happens when our moms are dysfunctional? What happens when our mom doesn't nurture us? What happens when our mom is emotionally abusive and neglectful? What happens when our mom is not serving the function of a mother? And we have to somehow develop as a human fully embodied and learn how to be healthy without having essentially a mother at all. Like, a lot of us have a living physical mother, but she's not actually a mother. She's not actually doing what a mother is supposed to do. So we're going to go over in this video what the mother wound is, and then as well as how to heal it. So first off, the mother wound is about the mother that you have either not physically being in your life or emotionally being in your life, where it causes these internal deficits where you weren't nurtured, you weren't cared for, your emotional needs were not valued and they don't matter, where your mom was overbearing, possibly. She was gaslighting you, where what she needed, what she wanted was more important than what you needed and what you wanted, where your pain didn't matter, your stress didn't matter, your anger doesn't matter. And these deficits turn into a person who cannot mother themselves. A lot of us cannot mother ourselves. A lot of us don't know how to nurture our emotions, feel our emotions, and express our emotions. And that is the process in healing it. The problem reveals the solution. The problem is the mother that we have in our lives did not nurture us and did not love us properly. So the solution when it comes to that is learning how to feel our emotions, understand our needs, and be able to meet those needs and express our emotions. And the way that the mother wound shows up is that it's really difficult to either identify and feel emotions, or it can disturb the function of processing your emotions and expressing your emotions to other people. So you're either going to be a person who just completely disidentifies with your emotions, your negative emotions like anger, stress, worry, grief. You just disconnect from that. You may feel ashamed or embarrassed by that because that's what your mother was doing to you when you felt this way. You'll be highly critical of yourself in low moments in your life. Or it can lead to someone who expresses their emotions and identifies with them, but they express their emotions in an emotionally volatile way. They'll be super aggressive or very petty or very conniving, very just have a lot of bitter and rage in their heart for people because they don't know how to have a healthy relationship and connection with their emotions. So either way, it's not having a proper connection and expression of emotion, and it's not being able to take care of your own emotional needs. And instead it can turn into you having a toxic pattern with other people where you need them to take care of your emotional needs and being able to process it for you and calm you down. And it can lead to just a lot of patterns in relationships where you're just not able to meet your partner where they're at. You're not able to care and identify their emotions as much because you don't know how to process your own emotions and have compassion for yourself. Sons will typically go on to date women that will be abusive or mistreat them, will or who will remind them of their mother. The familiarity that's in their subconscious, they will follow that familiarity and attract and stay with women that treat them really, really bad. And they'll stay with women that are not good for them. Or they'll even create chaos in their relationships with women so they can purposely emulate the relationship that they had with their mother. So their mother was very volatile, very critical, very conniving, not helping them emotionally, or just super neglectful. They're going to recreate that scenario with women. So they could come across a woman who's not like that, but they'll transform her into his mother. And this doesn't have to be a man. It could also be a woman who goes on to date another woman, where you turn that woman into your mother. Or you'll go out and find your mother, someone who reminds you of your mother. And it takes awareness to know that. When it comes to daughters and people that go on to date men, such as myself, it can manifest in not having compassion for yourself and not being able to emotionally identify your own emotions. So you don't really necessarily go out and find your mother. You have a disconnection from your own emotions. So you don't know how to process them. So you might be really aggressive towards men. You might be just really cold towards men. You might be very avoidant where you're very cold, like, okay, I don't feel nothing towards you, get out my face, where you become the person that has a distortion. And then a lot of daughters that have this mother wound can go on to become their mother. So instead of dating their mother, they embody and become their mother because they're learning the pattern of, I can't connect with my emotions. I can't take care of my emotional needs. So therefore, it's harder for you to be a mother and take care of your emotional needs of your children. And then when it comes to healing the mother wound that a lot of us have, we have to first connect and process the anger and the grief that we have towards our mother. And we can do this by journaling. We can do this by talking to a therapist. We can even do this with a friend who is willing to listen and just expressing what your mother did not do. How did you feel about that? What did you actually need in that moment? And just vent out the true, authentic emotions. Or if your mother wasn't there, what does that grief, what does that feel like? What is that what is that experience like with you towards your mother? We have to connect with the experience and connect also with the emotions that we feel towards our mother, and be able to give us ourselves the space to vent all of those things out. Second thing that we have to do is humanize our mother. Your mother was a child at a point. These behaviors that she has right now, or the things that she did or did not do for you, typically she did not get those things done for her. And she was a child at a point who had her own life experiences. You also have to take into account that she is a human separate from you. So we just separate from the fact that it is your mother. This is a separate human with their own emotions and their own life experiences that we're unaware of. Our mothers have had a childhood. They have had negative experiences with their family. They have had societal pressures and issues. Like, being a mother, especially a single mother, is very difficult. And you have to factor in, maybe they were not able to give you what you needed emotionally because they were dealing with a lot internally themselves. Maybe they have financial struggles. Maybe they've had problems with family. Maybe they've had problems in their relationships romantically that caused them to change. So we have to take into factors how their life has gone up until this point. And we're not saying that it makes everything right that they did to you. What we're saying is we humanize them. We understand that this is a human that is flawed. This is an imperfect person, and that they have their own storyline going on in life that is separate from me. Your mother's storyline has affected your storyline. Your mother's experiences have affected your experiences. But we have to acknowledge our mother's experience outside of us and humanize her. She has lived her own life, and that is the reason why she acts the way that she acts. But it doesn't make it okay. The third thing to do after we express our anger, we express our sadness, our grief, we journaled about it, we went to a therapist about it, we talked about it, we found a healthy way to express that. And then, second, we humanized her. The third thing that is conditional, I'm going to explain why, is forgiveness. So we have to forgive our mothers after we humanize them, because we have to have compassion for her. So since she didn't have compassion for us, the way that we heal is having compassion for her. And you're probably like, well, why would she deserve that from me? Because you don't want to be like her. She lacked compassion for you and your needs. So in order for you to be different from her and not repeat her patterns, is to learn compassion for humans, learn compassion for people, learn compassion for yourself. Even when it doesn't always logically make sense why someone did something to you. We have to connect with compassion so we don't hold on to bitterness, because that bitterness will poison us. Now, what I will say when it comes to forgiveness, don't force that. You can't force that. So if it takes you many, 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 many years to forgive her, that's okay. If many years go by after this video and you still haven't forgiven her, that's okay. But I want you to be conscious of that process towards forgiving her. Don't force yourself into forgiveness, but understand that forgiveness is a key part in letting go of the situation, the weight of the situation with her. So you don't hold on to this after she's long and gone. You don't want to keep holding on to these feelings, emotions, and bitterness that you have towards her. So understand that forgiveness is a natural process that must occur at some point. Doesn't have to occur today, but it's something that you should kind of move more towards inch by inch over time. The next thing is that you want to understand what your emotional needs are. So typically, I feel like we understand what our emotional needs are by our triggers. So whatever triggers you, it's going to identify the emotional need. So if you get triggered easily by friends that hang out without you, it's an easy trigger. You get real mad or you get really cold and avoidant. There might be something there. If you're dating someone and they don't listen to you when you call them and tell you about how everything didn't go right at work or you got fired, and they're not listening immediately, and you get super triggered, I mean triggered to the full extent where you block them or you get really angry, that's identifying a trigger. It's where you have a super emotional moment where you make a decision to move away from somebody or move towards them in a possibly aggressive way, or where you are activated in a behavior where you're manipulating somebody, where you're trying to control them, where you're trying to like get them to like love you more, you're trying to get somebody to give you more and like do more for you. You have to be honest and aware of like, okay, these are my triggers, and these triggers are going to point me towards what my emotional needs are. So typically our emotional needs is that a lot of us want to feel safe, a lot of us want compassion, a lot of us want to be considered as a human, a lot of us want to be humanized, and that's what we want from everybody in our lives. So those are like some basic things, but you can come up with your own things by journaling about it and writing it down. That what are your emotional needs? What do you need? What didn't your mother give you that you feel like now you need? And if it's a need that you can't meet on your own, start to look for in relationships, start to build friendships and romantic relationships where this person can actually offer you that need. Because some emotional needs may come from someone else, but a lot of them will come from yourself. So I don't want you to get it twisted thinking someone else can do it for you, but it can. Some things can be from someone else, but a lot of it is from you giving it to yourself. If you need compassion, you need to start practicing compassion, because that's usually my problem. My problem is that when I'm feeling anxious or stressed or things don't work out or I fail at something, I am very rough with myself. I am just kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter. Your feelings don't matter. Like, why are you anxious? Why are you angry? Like, that's embarrassing. Like, I get really critical with myself. Like, why are you angry? That's so embarrassing. But that's not what you want to do. You want to be compassionate. That you're like, I'm a human who feels things. I'm a human who gets anxious like everybody else. I get angry like everybody else. I get sad, and that's okay. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to feel this way, and I'm allowing myself to feel this way. And you just let it play out. You don't do anything harmful to anybody else or anything, but you let the anger play out. You let the anxiety play itself out. You let it play out. You lift your hands off of it. You stop judging it and you just allow it to be. Because your mom was super critical on you, you don't want to be super critical on your own emotions. So you offer yourself compassion. I allow myself to feel angry because I love myself and I'm a human. I allow myself to be anxious right now because I am a human and I deserve love. And the fourth thing that you want to do is you want to become the best version of your mother that you did not have. So, especially if you're a woman watching this, you want to embody motherly traits towards yourself and other people. come up with your best idea of what you think a mom is. Or maybe there's a character in a show that you really like and you feel like she's a good mom. A lot of Disney moms might be a good example. And try to embody those traits. What was she doing for the characters in the show? And try to be that type of mom for yourself. And then if you're someone who's dating women, try to look for someone who embodies some of those motherly traits. And don't date them in a sense of they're supposed to take care of you like your mom didn't, because that can become dangerous as well. So you got to catch that. You want to date someone who embodies those traits of they're nurturing, they care about your emotions, they are stable emotionally themselves, they're not constantly starting arguments with you, constantly starting conflict with you, constantly trying to diminish you. Because that is, if you're dating people like that, especially in women, then that's how you know your mother wound is still activated. But once you start dating someone who has a secure attachment, someone who's calm, someone who's nurturing, someone who's really loving, someone who will kiss you, hug you, really nurture you, that's when you know you're dating someone that is actually good for you, especially when you have this mother wound. That's really all that I have in this video, guys. I really want you to be gentle with yourself. I want you to really connect with your emotions. Look up an emotion wheel on Google if you need one, and really start to identify, how am I feeling in my heart, and not in your head, but start to really connect with your heart of like, how do I feel about my life and how do I feel about things? And understand that this is a process and that you are not going to be burdened by what has been with your mom. And whether she was there physically or not there physically, you will not be burdened, and your life is not a sentencing based on what she did or did not do. You are not a victim due to what she did or did not do. You have power and influence over your own life to decide how it goes, and your power is in your response to every situation. So as long as you have awareness of yourself, your triggers, and your needs and your emotions, you will be just fine. As long as you have awareness of self and you have awareness of the relationships that you have around you, you're going to be just fine. I want you to know that, and I want you to trust me in knowing that. So with that being said, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all those amazing, beautiful things. I want you guys to leave blue heart emojis in the comments to let me know that you made it to the very end. I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Let me know what you think down below. See you later.